Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Becca. Today we're going to be in my garden. I have quite the pruning job to do. This is year 3 with or season 3, year 2 with our fruit trees, and they have grown quite a bit. I'll insert a picture somewhere up here of what they looked like. This was the first thing that I ventured into in my garden. I have 2 apple trees. I have a cherry tree that died. We're going to replace Burbank plum tree. I have a donut peach tree. This is my apricot tree, and then my Washington navel orange tree down here, the seedless one, is starting to take off finally. I am new to pruning trees, so I thought it would be fun to just share something short and sweet to the point for pruning trees. So if you're new or you're just looking for like a quick guide on how to prune trees, then welcome to my channel. Don't forget to subscribe. I have a ton of gardening content coming up. We are in the middle of winter sowing. We are getting the garden ready. I'm going to fill my beds in like a week or two. We are somewhere back there behind our redwood. My fruit trees, I would love for them to be tall. It's everybody's preference. I think first, if you want to keep them small, basically like at an arm's length. Consideration how tall you want your branches. I'm going to show you here in a second. This tree took off. This is my shower, and he just grew, and he's starting to kind of lean towards the sun, which is in the garden, which I don't want. Eventually I think we're going to do another row of trees. I want to keep this one a little bit short, but I don't want him leaning in. I want his branches going straight up. So the first thing that you're going to do when you are pruning your fruit trees is you're going to make sure that you want to start with a clean pair of tools. I left mine out over last winter. They got extremely dirty. You can get these at Dollar Tree. They don't have to be fancy. Obviously, invest in good ones. You won't have to replace them often. But tools are clean. If you're using something from last year, make sure that it is clean. You can use rubbing alcohol. You can clean it with, any sort of cleaner that's not going to harm your trees. Just make sure that your tools are clean. If you had a diseased tree or diseased branch, you don't want to spread that from tree to tree. So make sure that you do clean them in between each tree. I learned that the hard way with some of my plants. So you're going to want to start with some shears. You can use a handsaw. It depends on how thick your branches are. So just kind of gauge. There are many different tools. I'll show you in a second. A handsaw comes in handy because you want a really clean cut. You don't want to leave anything open for disease. Let's talk about timing. You are actually pruning your trees. You want to prune your trees, especially if you have fruit trees. You want to prune them late winter into early spring is still dormant, and that you're not cutting off any of the important growth that is yet to come. So just kind of pay attention to your zones. There's so many different websites. I'll leave them down below. If you don't know what zone you're in, you definitely want to know that, depending on when you could expect rain. I think I've learned, and I don't know what channel it's from, but when you do prune your trees, you want to make sure that you don't do it before rainfall, because it can open the tree to any sort of disease. Wet, and you don't want to leave, it's kind of like an open wound on your body. You don't want to leave it open and sopping wet for days and not have a chance to dry out. So if you have any tips, if you are a beginner like me, or if you're a seasoned person that happened to come to my channel, welcome. Don't forget to stick around, but leave any of your pruning tips down below. Again, I'm super new to pruning trees, but honestly I feel like if you're new, then you're more eager and the more you'll learn. So I would love for this to be a community, a place where people can share what they know, tips and tricks. If I'm doing something wrong, I love constructive criticism, so leave that down below. We're going to talk about where we're going to prune. So first thing you're going to want to look for is any dead or diseased branches. I've gone quite through my trees and I actually don't see anything that is dead or diseased. Cross your fingers. We had an issue with our plum tree last year. It was infested. I took off every single branch that I could find that was dead or diseased, and I took off every single leaf. It was painstaking. It broke my heart, but it came back like twofold. So if you have any issues, take a deep breath and just get rid of the dead or diseased branches. Energy going into those dead tree branches. I will try to find one. I can actually go look at my cherry tree and show you some of the dead leaves or some of the dead branches. We just haven't taken it out because I don't know what kind of fruit is going to go over there. I tried to make sure that we had a succession of fruit coming off of each tree throughout the year. That's why we planted the variety that we planted, but here we are. I need another tree. Any suggestions, let me know. My husband and I think that it might have gotten burned from our actual fence because the heat just like radiating off of there. Any ideas, let me know. We didn't see any pests or anything. Bloomed the first 2 seasons, the spring seasons, amazingly, and then it just died. So you can see here that this branch is really dead. You're gonna wanna above the collar, the raised area that's above the branch, so that the tree can actually heal properly. So if I was doing that, I would cut all the way down here and try to get the cleanest cut possible. And this is hard because it's dead. Right. Cutting off the branch, you're going to want to cut just above the collar, the raised area at the base of the branch, so that the tree can heal properly. So if this entire tree wasn't dead, I would have gotten the cleanest cut I could on this branch so that the rest of this could heal, but the entire tree is dead, like I mentioned before. So if you wanted to, you could actually come in here with a handsaw and make sure that this is straight so that it will heal properly. So you would do that for any of the dead or diseased branches. And you can see here that this tree is just completely dead. If I snap it on the inside, it's dried out and the buds are just completely fried. So just take that into consideration. So this is my apricot tree, and you can tell that it took off and it got extremely thick, and then these are the branches I was telling you that they actually start coming inward. I don't know if it's just looking for the sun. I don't want my tree growing in this way, so what we're going to focus on, again, after we have looked for anything dead or diseased, I don't see anything dead or diseased on this tree. Like I said before, I've looked at all of these and all of the buds look really healthy. These branches look extremely healthy. There's a ton of new growth on here, so I know whatever we're doing is working. We're gonna focus on the center of the tree, so you'll follow the center and we'll see that it kind of starts to branch off. That's fine, but then all of these offshoots just start shooting out. So there are 3 main center points of this tree, which I'm okay with. And again, I think a lot of this has to vary with how you want your tree to grow. If you didn't want lower hanging branches, you could obviously trim this off. I feel like pruning there are rules, but there's also ways to make it your own depending on how you want to prune. We're going to cut away any crowded or crossing branches, and then we're going to maintain an open center. Just keep that in mind. It sounds more daunting. I've binged videos for a very long time, and I just kind of avoided pruning them last year when I should have. I feel like they would have grown and given us a bigger harvest. Last thing, after we've pruned everything, we're just going to step back and look and make sure that the tree is balanced. You never want one side of the tree to be kind of like topsy-turvy, and I feel like this one is definitely topsy-turvy because it's leaning into the garden instead of going straight up. So I'm going to get up on a step stool. I'm going to start pruning this one, and then I'll just include some shots of me pruning the other one. We will do a before and after picture so that we can kind of just get a gauge of what it looked like before and what it's going to look like after. And I promise you, the older your tree gets, the more you maintain the shape and the open center with airflow and not so crowded with all these tiny little branches. The energy of the tree will be more focused, it'll be more balanced, you'll get a bigger harvest, you'll get better tasting fruit, and it will actually increase the health of the tree. Already tell from the center of the tree I took off 1, 2, 3, but now the tree is going straight up like I want it. So it's going out and up, and it's not coming in towards the garden, which honestly the tree is eventually just gonna fall after some time. So you can see it's a lot more open, it's not so crowded down here. I'm undecided on this branch. I feel like it's taking away quite a bit and it's growing into the fence, so I may take off that lower branch, but maybe not. It's new. So this one right here, I'm going to take that off because it's coming in again, and that way the structure of the tree will be straight. Alright guys, I think that's going to wrap up today's video. If you like this video or you learned something, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Let me know if you have any tips or tricks with your fruit trees. I would love to see you guys in the next video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.